Hey there, so I'm Kat Gertson and I am a network marketing professional, and I'm coming to you with something here that I truly believe is something that is going to completely transform the way you do your business, especially if you have a team or if you have a network or if you know people, right? So I'm really speaking to everyone and anyone, and this is something that can be scaled onto so many different levels. This can be used for teams of tens of thousands of people or teams of 1 to 10 people, right? It's just all about how you are going to go and get the foundation set for this. And so I really want to start this off by really making sure that your mindset is in the right place for this, because as we know in our industry, if you do not have your mindset firm, sharp, and focused, every single thing that you do is going to be confused, okay? Nothing is going to be organized, and people are not going to understand your message and what you're trying to get across. And that is the worst thing that you can do when releasing something to your team, to your network, into any kind of pond or pool that people are going to be looking for information from you. So we're going to be talking here about, I like to call it the one thing that is going to support all of the things in your business, okay? Right from reaching out, inviting, which we know is the highest paid skill in network marketing, into follow up, into creating culture, into creating trust, love, community, taking your team and having them come together cohesively as one, okay? I want you to understand that the majority of what you want will come from the minority of what you do. That's from Gary Keller, The One Thing. And that is so true in this case, because this is actually going to end up being a 1-hour Zoom presentation, okay, that is going to be the minority of what you do, but it is going to be the thing that is going to be the glue, and it is going to bring all of the things together. So we're going to be talking here about mindset. How is this going to become something that you can duplicate? Culture and community, how we're going to create trust through this. Leadership, right? Not just for yourself, but how you're going to be launching people in your organization and your network into leadership, which is one of the things that we strive so hard to do, and we strive to do that right at the beginning of their network marketing career. And this is going to do that. So we've created a system of doing, right? Gone are the times where we sit in meetings about meetings, right? We are wanting to step into a system of doing where every single thing that is attached to this is an income producing activity, right? That you're sitting in IPAs all the time, in every second that you are stepping in and your team is stepping in to work their business. We're gonna be lighting the fire from below. I had a mentor of mine and who said this to me, and it's always stuck with me, that if you build the fire from below, it will shoot up. If you make sure that the person on your team with the lowest paycheck is feeling empowered, that will build up. And a system that supports them all of the things, like I said before, when it comes to personal development, following up, reaching out, social media, creating culture, all of those things. We are going to be diving into that, okay? And so I'm gonna come to you first, and I need you to understand here first as to how I came up with this and how this is something that really spoke to me in the way where I felt that I was ready to release it to my team. All right, I was in a place in my business where I was working so hard, okay, but I was working very passively. I was doing all of the things that you are supposed to do to build a business. I was doing all of the things that you're supposed to do to be a leader, but there was no traction happening. We were staying at a plateau because I was not intentionally working my business. I was not coming in with this laser beam focus as to what my business is going to look like after today, after the activities I do today, what's going to change, what is the step forward that we're going to be taking as an organization, right? I had consistently been thinking about it for myself, but I had never envisioned this as like a team thing. How is the team going to step forward in this consistently every single day? So we want to cultivate the technique of seeing all problems as opportunities. And that's from the book Conversations with God, book 1, on page 141. And this is a quote, and this is what I like to really have people understand. We no longer have to look at problems as problems. They are just opportunities. And as soon as I read that line in January of this year, being 2019, I had an opening in my mind for so much more. And that's where I came to this right here, where trust will be the backbone of everything anyone does in this industry. Every concept and system should be created from the fundamentals of love and trust. And I really went forward with that, thinking that this is going to be the foundation. If I can build trust, right, then my team will trust, their network will trust. And if I'm coming from a place of love, we're always going to be attracting the right people, right? We're always going to be attracting people who have the best intentions at heart and that really want to grow, because we know that we cannot grow our organizations and our teams in this industry if you do not want to see other people grow more than you want to grow. You will stay stagnant. And so this is what this whole entire system is going to teach to you. So gone are the days of rags to riches stories, okay? Those are gone, those are done. Throw those aside and save those for your big team trainings. Save those for the moments where you're going to share with someone who's maybe struggling with something. But those are not the things that we are sharing right now. We need to meet prospects where they are, right? We need to meet the people who have not pushed accept into our business where they are. They don't even believe that they can make $10 in our industry, yet we think stories of people making millions is going to be the thing that's going to bring them in. There will be the few that will hear that story and they will jump in and be like, I can be that person, I'm gonna do that, right? There will be those ones. But do we ever run our businesses or our lives based off of the exception? Or do we run all of our activities off of the rule? The rule is that people do not believe they can do until they start to take those steps. And the first step they need to take is to go and push accept. So that's where we are introducing the Why I Pushed Accept movement. For this whole entire movement, you need to make sure that you understand that when something is duplicatable, it does not mean it does not require work. We need to throw that concept out the window, and we need to understand that just because something is work does not mean that it's not duplicatable. All of the processes that we have in our business at one point were a lot of work until they weren't work anymore, because you got the system integrated into your daily method of operation. Then it's just like a fine running machine. Okay, so we really need to understand that duplication does not mean it will not be work. As a matter of fact, when you are getting this up and running and you are going into it with the intention that your foundation is going to be strong, it is going to be work. But if you follow these training videos and you go through and you really intentionally get these done and you get these key points in, it's going to become less work. And you're going to have a moment where you sit back and you look and you're like, how did everything get so easy? This all used to be so hard. The tides of this are not going to simply change in one event. Okay, you're not going to just go do one Zoom call and be like, oh my gosh, I did one Zoom call and now I am a top earner in my company. That's not what's going to happen. It is going to take you committing. And I really do suggest that you sit down with the mindset of committing to a certain length of time. Myself personally, I sat down as I was doing this and I said, you know what, Kat, you are going to do this for 6 months. For 6 months, you are going to show up and you are going to host these events for your team. And after 6 months is when you're going to step back and you're going to do a profit and loss and see what is working and what isn't and how you're going to make these changes. Right? But you need to go show your team that you are going to walk the talk. We tell our teams all the time, oh, it doesn't happen overnight. You know, you got to put in the time, you got to put in the work. But yet we as leaders jump around from system to system to system to system, not following our own advice, right? That right there is duplication in itself, right? Is that we're not doing the thing that they said. Duplication is that everything in this business done over and over and over again is going to create success. Something done once is not going to. Do not underestimate the power of the giveaway. This is something here that there's a lot of pushback on, okay? For some reason, people will go and pay thousands of dollars to host an event, and with potential loss of not even gaining any return on investment from that event. If people don't show up and they're going to drive or they're going to fly and stay in a hotel, they'll do that. But offering up some sort of larger ticket item prize, something between like $200 and $500, they won't do it. All of a sudden now their wallets are shut, right? But I really want you to really understand the idea behind the giveaway. Okay, so we're going to talk about this dangling carrot of prize and the mindset behind it. It is going to remove barriers. It is going to go and it is going to take your team and they are going to reach out. I will promise you this. Your team, the people who want this, are going to reach out to people who they would have never reached out to before, simply because they have a prize that they can offer this person for simply showing up. This is a point that people don't also quite understand, and it's a very important part of mindset, is that it's also going to get people on your team to show up, right? Because I don't close the doors on the prize. It can go to market partners or guests. In our business, we call them market partners, but consultants or distributors, whatever they are in your business, but they're going to show up. They're going to show up for it. This is a virtual event. It is relatively costless when it comes down to it. So it's a fraction of what you are going to put on in cost at a live event, where you're not even potentially, that's not even including giving something away to people who are there. And trust. You are going to be creating trust. Let me say that again so that you understand trust. Your business cannot grow if you do not have trust. And if your team is not attending your events, whether or not they are in person or they are virtual or they are whatever however you're doing it, right? If they're not attending it, it's because of one of two things, okay? Either they don't want this business, and that could be really true. You could have a team of people who just, none of them really see the vision. None of them want this, and so they're not going to show up. But it could be number two is that they don't trust you. They don't trust that they're going to be able to come and give you time and actually get something out of it. They definitely do not trust you enough to now take their network and risk their social esteem on what you're going to deliver. So at the beginning, it might be something where you have to earn the trust of your team. And let's also think about this, because if your business is growing, right, which you're hoping that it is all the time, and especially when you start to implement something like this, when your business is growing, you will always have new people coming in whose trust you have to earn. That's never going to go away. And if you don't have new people coming in whose trust you have to earn, then you have a problem in your business, right? Because we really do want that. So don't just shut off the prizes for just guests, because you never know. You never know what one brand new person or someone who's been in the business for 2 years and hasn't really done much, but all of a sudden, some prize that catches their eye gets them on this Zoom conference here, and it just, boom, they get it. Because when you start talking about why people push accept rather than how, Sally Superstar jumped in and made $1 million in 7 months, where she's like, your market partner or your consultant that's been in it for 2 years and hasn't done anything is like, well, that's not me. Turns off, right? But they're going to get onto this call where people are talking about that moment that everyone has in common. So having the mindset of meeting your prospects where they are at, the why I pushed accept. Okay, and I want you to understand what this looks like. This is a maximum 5 minutes of people talking, okay, on their why they pushed accept experience. Okay, so now let's think about this. So literally every single person who is in your organization has pushed accept. Every single one of them has. All right, so in thinking that means that every single person in your organization is a potential speaker for this call. So what happens to someone, okay? What happens to someone when they step out of their comfort zone and they grow and they go in and speak, right? Like lots of times you're gonna hear professionals in this industry say, the person with the microphone is the one making the most money usually. Let's put the freaking microphone in everyone's hands. Let's give everyone that opportunity to do this. As a matter of fact, it is more authentic and more powerful when you have people who are not making tens of thousands of dollars a month or even a year being the ones to share why they pushed accept, right? The newer the better, in my personal opinion, because you're launching them, like I was saying at the beginning of this video, you're launching them into leadership, right? As soon as they share, they start to lead. And also, in my personal experience with these events, is as soon as I have new people come in and share, they are inviting to these events so vigorously. They are bringing in tons of guests, and their organizations are growing, and they are no longer considered new, right? Because they are now building a team. And it is very magical and very powerful, because also one thing that we have to understand is that our lower level ranked people are actually our most valuable, because they have more untouched network, okay? They have more available to them at this point than someone like myself, who, you know, like realistically, I'm into the cold market, into bringing cold market into warm market and transferring there. Like it takes me being consistent all the time to make sure I have a pipeline. Whereas your newer people, or your people who haven't really jumped hardcore into this, they still have that entire hot and warm market that they can invite and bring in. So we talk about how things were before they pushed accept and why they did. We do not start talking about I pushed accept and then I, hid in a hole for 3 years and went and did da. And then I had some struggles here. Like, we don't have a single thing of negativity on this call, because we are not talking about after the accept. We are meeting our prospects where they are at and talking about the accept pushing, right? We're talking about that moment that we've all been to, okay? Not every single person experiences the same things, but this is one thing that every single person in your organization has experienced, and we keep it there. We don't go past that. Okay, so now when we are going to come into this event, if you have a network marketing company, you do have product, okay? And you're not going to make your product the star of the show, and for a few different reasons here, and I really want you to understand that, because it is very easy for us to lean on our products, okay? It's very easy for us to, kind of put them in the front, and then we also have this opportunity, and right? But we don't want to lean on our products, okay? We want to keep it super simple and highlight some products and how we like to use them, right? Like, don't become a scientist. Don't become an expert panel, right? Be an everyday person, who is what the majority of the people on your call are going to be, okay? Be that person who just wants to know how, like, why should I use these? How am I going to use these? Talk about some of the benefits, but don't become a walking textbook, okay? Because the message that you're sending to prospects in that moment is like, oh my gosh, I don't want to have to know all that. They're going to learn it. They're going to learn it through osmosis and just immersing themselves in the culture that you're creating on your team, but they don't know that yet, right? People don't know that. They don't understand that yet until they're actually in it. So don't try to explain something to someone that they don't know, right? They can't know till they know. So if you think when you're talking product, it sounds simple, make it simpler, okay? Like, you want to get, when you're talking about product, you want to bring it down to where you could explain it to a kindergarten student and they would understand why they want their mom to wash their hair or drink this thing or do this thing with your product, right? You want it to be that simple. Then here in our company, we have the opportunity for a founder, right? We have this bright and shiny founder opportunity, which is shares, okay? So believe it or not here, guys, the most powerful founder stories are going to actually come from people who have not earned founder yet. Why? Oh my goodness, because we are meeting our prospects where they are at, right? So you want to have people who are going for it. And let's be honest here, you can have existing founders share to kind of paint a vision and a dream and really catch the eye of those like vivid visionaries and those big dreamers that will jump in because they heard, Sally Superstar earned $1 million in 8 months. Like, you will have those people who will jump in and say yes to it for that. But every single founder became a founder without having seen someone become a founder, right? In our current company anyways. Legacy founders did not necessarily have these rags to riches stories to go and share, right? They shared why they wanted to become a founder. That's what they did, that they shared their vision with their network and they just kept doing it and doing it. And so we want to really empower our people to be able to do that. And then you want to have a personal development story because you want people to understand that there is something more valuable. Okay, there is something more valuable in this business than money. Okay, that they are going to grow and you want them to grow, and it is actually encouraged for them to grow and dream bigger and be more internally by everyone here, and everyone wants to hear and see that from them. Stay away from having like a top earner or something like that sharing their personal development story, because you're going to hear time and time again, well, of course, you know, she or he is happy. Who wouldn't be happy when they made, you know, $1 million last year? I would be happy if I'd made $1 million. Of course, I'd feel better about myself and my life, but that's not the case right now. That's not going to be me, right? You want to have someone sharing this who genuinely has grown and become a fuller person by doing the steps and doing the things that are required in this business, right? So we want to really make sure that we are sharing the personal growth stories and that we are having them come from a big place of authenticity. The next thing you do need to have is that when your event is ending, you do need to have the next one in the books, because life gets busy. You will push it off, but you need to have the next one in the books. I committed that I was going to do them bi-weekly, okay? Or as close to that as possible, but there was going to be 2 done every single month. And so I always have the next one when it's gonna happen so that it's right there and we can lead our people who join from that. They have that next event to go and use as part of their onboarding process to invite to, okay? We've had launch parties tune in to our event and plug it into the TV, and then that new person really doesn't have a whole lot they have to do for their launch party, right? We want to make sure we have that and that we're always leading to the next event, right? Like any expert in this industry is going to tell you, your business will stop when events stop because you don't have things to lead people to. We need to lead people to the next point. So the key things that you need to remember here are, when you're setting up the mindset, you are doing this on a Zoom. Okay, this is going to be short and powerful. Okay, this is not something where we want to waste people's time. We're doing it on a Zoom or a web conference platform for the simple purpose of elevating and maximizing people's time. You need to have a giveaway. You need to have that dangling carrot that is going to get the biggest skeptic to even come take a look and maybe be inspired just because there was simply something being given away. Speakers do not speak for more than 5 minutes. They do not speak for more than 5 minutes because we want to share as many stories as possible, because we want to have as many opportunities to hit that prospect's point of where they're at. That one story that might remind them of themselves, remind them of someone they know, right? And then have the speaking sections. You don't want it to all just be the same story over and over again. They're all gonna have the same kind of path and the same kind of end result in it, but we want to have some diversity, right? We don't want this to become a snooze fest of it. And then always having the next date planned. Okay, the mindset of prep. So as a leader, or as someone who is aspiring to be a leader, I cannot simply just show up with a Zoom and expect for my team to just like come, right? Like we talked about that. You do need to create trust. You are selling this, especially at the beginning, to your team when this is new. You are selling this to them. Okay, and you need them to buy in. I could not have created these events, and we would not have the success that we had my team not trusted me and jumped in, and had I not spent time creating the trust and celebrating every step along the way. So you need to know that how you prepare for this is going to dictate the success you're going to have. So that's the mindset you need to know, that, you know what, the event is only like 45 minutes. Okay, the hours before and after are actually where the most traction is going to come from. You're going to use this event as your one thing that all of your other trainings, everything you do in your business is going to come and tie it all together. You're going to teach your team how those 4 15-minute quadrants of time, being personal development, reach outs, follow-ups, and planning, are going to be the method that they're going to use to get people to these events. Okay? You're going to hold hands, but you won't have to forever. Okay? You're going to spend time holding the hand of the first-time speaker, the new person, someone who's never invited someone to an event before, someone who's never followed up with someone before. You're going to hold their hand, and you're going to help them build the confidence and the trust in your system, and you will not have to do it forever. The only reason that you are now finding yourself having to go and do it forever is because that person is not getting enough opportunities to practice their skill. So they do not feel confident every time they do it because it's taking them 3 to 4 weeks to practice that skill again, right? So we want to go and push them into, using these skills and using these methods daily, not weekly, not monthly, so that they become experts at this a lot faster. And I personally like to use chats of some sort to organize all of this. So I have chats for people who, as soon as I have the speaker list created for who's going to be speaking on the next call, it all goes in a chat, right? And I tell them who's there. We have them share pictures for advertising in there. We share like how they're going to put together their speaking. We share just that. That's just the communication place for all of the speakers there. So that we can also bring together a community of them and that they feel supported in this, right? It creates a lot less questions and it makes it so that you're not answering the same question, 7 or 8 times, you're just answering it 1 time because your time is valuable as well. And you need to do the things in the way that it's going to elevate your time. I also have a chat created that I do for marketing, okay? So we want it to be a thing where people are all going in the same direction. All right? So we want to understand that people are going to be going in the same direction and that they're going to be all going toward the same collective goal, which is going and getting guests to these events, right? So we have a marketing group where we share all of the material that we're putting together to go and advertise for this event. And people will on your team, believe it or not, at the beginning, you will be the one making all of it. And just accept that. Just accept that that's going to happen because there's not confidence, there's not trust, they're not excited yet. But over the course of time, people will begin sharing and making their own and sharing it in there. Okay? And you are not building this event. You need to understand that. This is not about you. You are a connector. You are the glue, you are the adhesive that kind of brings this whole event together and sticks. You're the one that's going to believe in this event until your team believes in it. But you are not the star of the show here. As a matter of fact, you as the leader, this is your opportunity to take yourself off of a pedestal and allow your team to shine and allow them to feel special and allow them to get their truth out there.